When I was actually going through BMT, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna hide who I am. And I kind of got outed in camp.
Oh, you got outed in camp? How?
There's no one way to be a man or a woman, and you shouldn't be too harsh on yourself about how you look or how others perceive you.
We got engaged in Pink Dots.
Oh!
9 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Hi everyone, welcome to Tea Talks, a show where we trade tea for stories.
And this episode, we have cupcakes too, because we're here at Pink Dot to support the LGBTQ plus community as well as to hear some of their stories.
And I know what you're thinking. Hey, why Jialing look a bit different today?
Yeah, Jialing, you do look a bit
I
different
look a bit
today.
different, right?
You sound different too, Jialing.
It's the haircut. It's the
Right,
haircut.
it must be the haircut.
It's the haircut. It's the haircut.
No, today's episode is extra special because it is Shabil first time hosting with us. So I think the very important question would be, right, Shabil, what do you identify as?
Well, for me, I identify as gay. What about you? What do you identify as?
I identify as straight. It's right to say I identify as straight, right?
That's completely fine. Yeah, even you want to go Pink Dot as like an ally, that's completely okay too.
Ally.
That's actually great. Yes, an
Right.
ally. I felt like a certain attraction towards guys ever since I was 7, but I only kind of accepted that I was actually a different sexuality only when I was in Sec 2. So there was this girl, that the first person I ever met who was bi, and then she came out
Right.
to me as well. She was like, oh, I'm bi. Then like, what about you? Then I was like, oh yeah, that is a term that I could use. The next couple of days, I felt like a huge weight off my shoulders. Because it's like you finally found a label that you can just like, you know...
Relate to?
Yeah, relate to. Then it's like, I don't have to lie to myself anymore. Yeah, so like coming to terms with it is something like a very important milestone in like everyone in the LGBTQ community's like life.
For you, it felt really liberating, right?
Yeah, but like definitely I did face a lot of struggles as well. Because like, you know, I grew up in a Muslim household. So the values I was taught is that, you know, LGBT is something that is wrong, is a sin. And I had to kind of come to terms with like, how can I love my religion but still accept myself for who I am?
Was it like guilt that you were feeling, or?
I think some days it was guilt. Yeah, it was definitely guilt. Because it's like, I know that this is me now, but like, is there a chance that...
You were thinking that it is a phase that you will grow out of.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a phase. But you know, it's all a process. And it's something that I hope to kind of like juggle along the way. Yeah.
Hi, hello. Hi, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. So like, what do you identify as?
Identify as him.
Him.
Yeah, I'm bisexual.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like to
okay.
dress up like that. Yeah, right?
I
It's
like
really
your
good, it's really good.
glitter.
Thank you.
So today actually we're sharing about coming out stories.
Okay.
So would you like to share with us your coming out story?
Honestly, my coming out story is super... I would say super normal. I started like falling for people of my same sex. Yeah, and that was when I really realized and I affirmed myself about who I am as a person.
But what about like your family? Do they know about it?
I guess, okay, because I come from a broken family. From my father's side, it's more of they know but we don't talk about it. It's like an open secret. Whereas for my mom, I actually just came out to her this year. It was really, really awkward. Cause
Do you plan for it, or?
no, actually she asked me to go over to her place one day for dinner. But when I went over, there was no dinner. Like she was just like, can I ask you something? So I just told her lah, like, I'm bisexual. I like both guys and girls. And like, there's nothing wrong with me and this is who I am. And then she just mentioned like, the way you're dressed, don't people stare at you? And I'm just like, but that's their narrative. That's their prerogative. That's not mine. That's not my story.
That's true.
From that point on, she kind of reached out to like my cousins.
Okay.
Yeah, whereas it's in the same age range as me, to talk to them and to find out more. And
About
then,
what?
Yeah, to find out more about like
Bisexual,
me, what is bisexuality. And like after that, we just kind of became more... Our relationship became better, I would say.
But I think it's really sweet of your mom to go and find out what bisexual
Yeah.
is.
She likes to preach about her being super liberal and like she's not like any other mom.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Right,
she
so
tries
she's
her
very
best lah.
supportive
Yeah, she
when it
tries her
comes to
best.
this.
When I was actually going through BMT, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna hide who I am. Cause like, you always have the impression that army is not the best place to come out. And I kind of got outed in camp.
Oh, you got outed in camp? How?
Yeah, cause like, there was mutuals everywhere. So like, we started posting IG stories. And one of the guy actually DM one of my bunkmates and was like, how do you know Sherwin? Do you know Sherwin is da 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 da? When we booked in after, my friend was like, in a very joking way, Sherwin, I know your secret.
Right.
And I was just
my
like,
God.
what secret? He was like, you know I know Ken already. You sure you want me to talk about it now? And then the thing is, cause it was such high tension in bunk, right? Cause everyone is hearing like, oh, I know your secret. So everyone was like, hey brother, share, hey, what's your secret? What's your secret?
No.
Say, hey bro,
God.
don't need hide one lah. All of us sat down around the table and I'm just like, okay, you all wanna know, right? I'm not straight, I'm bi. Everyone's like, oh, che, like that only. Yeah lah, never mind lah, buy then buy lah.
Oh, so they just accepted you
Yeah,
straight
then
away.
after that, they were just
Sweet.
super sweet. Then like, when I'm out of the bunk, they will come and talk to me and be like, bro, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you coping well? Are you doing okay?
Right.
Hey, anything you know, you can come and talk to me, right?
It is
Super
really
healthy,
super wholesome.
super
Yeah,
wholesome.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
It's like you hit goal there.
Yeah, I
Like-
really hit goal. Like, they are literally the best people I've ever met.
These are the friends that you
God.
make for life.
Yeah, I've never regretted coming out, like not even once. Like accepting myself for who I am is actually the best part of growing up.
Thank you so much for sharing
Thank
your
you.
story.
Thank you.
I hope you have a
Good
good
day.
pink dot today.
Ah, you have waited 2 years for this.
Yes.
Celebrate.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye.
His story was very
Very
cute.
wholesome,
Yes, yeah. I wish.
NS.
I'm hoping my NS journey is
I
gonna be like
manifest
that.
for you.
I manifest. Please
Manifesting
manifesting. We have one more guest.
Hi. Hello.
So, what do you identify as?
I'm a transgender female. I'm 19 years old this year. At around 14 years old, I was in an all-boys school. So it was really, really difficult for me to, kind of identify with the other boys, right? I told my mom and she was like, you can't be serious, And I think back then also because I was young, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna try to repress. I'm gonna be a boy for the rest of my life. Yeah, it definitely was quite daunting and really scary as a young boy back then. It's actually a regret that I have that I didn't try to push for my transition earlier.
What was it that made that change?
Actually, I think one of the main triggers was really circuit breaker. That period of time gave me so much time to reflect on myself, and also because in JC there are girls and boys mixed together, and then like seeing other girls being able to be who they are in school, I think it really made me a little jealous. The gender dysphoria really got super bad. And then I told my mom, I said, I really can't do this. I would rather be not alive than having to live as a boy for the rest of my life. So I think that really,
That statement itself.
it stung their hearts.
Right.
But I think what really changed for her is because I started to really put in effort into life in general, and I was like more upbeat in life because I get to be who I am now. And I'm
can
really
see
like
the
generally
change,
just
yeah.
happier in life. Yeah.
Okay.
And I skipped school for a year during my transition. But my parents were kind of there for me. They told me to be patient because it takes time.
Yeah.
And yeah, now here I am. So
Yeah, here you are. Oh my
very,
gosh,
very proud of you.
thank
Yeah.
you. I remember one senior told to me, there's no one way to be a man or a woman, and your gender identity really, it's a reflection of how you feel on the inside, and you shouldn't be too harsh on yourself about how you look or how others perceive you. Yeah.
You are now identifying as a female student in school, right? How was it like?
So I started socially transitioning, and I started dressing more female, like, and then after a year, like this year, I went back to school. I had a new class, so I went in as Chloe. No one knew. Nobody knew who I was before that. So it's like a
Right.
completely new environment. I reset back to zero.
Did you eventually tell them or?
I told a few, and actually today I'm gonna come out to more people. I'm gonna post on my main Instagram, which I haven't posted in 2 years.
Oh my gosh, that must be a big thing. What made you know that this was the time that you wanted to share to the world?
I feel like today coming to Pink Dot and seeing everyone just really being who they are, it just made me feel so happy. Like finally being able to, wave this flag and say that this is my journey, this is who I am.
Thank you so much for sharing with us your story and
Please take a
joining us for
cupcake.
Tea Talk. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. After hearing all the stories, right, what do you feel about coming out? Especially, I mean, you're still so early on.
Yeah,
in this
yeah. I
journey.
think I felt a bit more confident because like her story is quite inspiring. Like, not gonna lie, it's very inspiring. Like, not just quite. I've not came out to my parents yet, so it's definitely gonna be like a whole process. They definitely won't accept me right off the bat. But hopefully, like as time progresses, maybe they could understand my point of view even more. And yeah, I can't wait for that to happen. We have another guest. Oh, do we have two guests? Have a seat. Have a seat.
You should go for gin and tonic, you know. Gin and
Tonic.
tonic. Producer. So, what do you guys identify as?
Awesome and wonderful.
Awesome and wonderful.
Yeah.
We're actually talking about like coming out stories. So, would you guys like to share with us your coming out stories?
There were many coming outs for me. The most memorable one was to my parents when I was 24. I went to Japan to start working there. And on hindsight, it's also because I couldn't face my family. I told myself, if they reject me, if they cannot take it, at least I have a life of my own. I don't depend on them financially. So I wrote them a long email. And I was mortified and I was like, oh, for a few days. But then they responded very positively. My dad was a long email saying, well, as long as you're happy, you know, you always will be my daughter. I'm proud of you. And I was really tearing and moving. And I'm very close to my dad.
Oh.
My mom is Asian.
Yeah.
And so she had, I think, more difficulty to accept. But I think she tried. And so I was still very moved by what she responded.
What about you, lovely Anna?
So I grew up in the UK. And my family, they're very staunch Christian. And when you're growing up Chinese in the UK, you're already a minority. And so I tried to come up to my mother when I was 14. And she just said, oh, don't be so silly. Go away. So that was that at 14, so I didn't. And then I came out to her again at 17. And she thought I was going to go to hell. Bless her. And so she would keep praying for me. And so I left home. And I wasn't in contact for 1 year. And then finally she gave a message to my sisters to say, Anna, come home, you're still my daughter. So I then went home, not to live, but to have dinner. And then over the years, she's become more and more accepting of my partners. And then many years after that, when I introduced her to various partners, she would come drinking with us. Drinking with us, sit in the park, have a few glasses of wine. My partners at that point, if I took them home, she would give them little da baos.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
really
it's
sweet
very
of your mom.
accepting.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
From someone that couldn't even accept
Yeah,
it to
that's the thing.
giving
Yeah.
little tapaos to
Da baos
guests.
to my partners.
Wow, okay.
Oh, and then she came to my wedding, and now she calls my partner my wife. So she's come a long way.
She has.
Indeed, she has
It
come
just
a long
takes time,
way.
you know.
How does it make you feel to know that she has become more and more accepting?
Do you know what? It gives me hope. It gives me hope that when people say that old people cannot change, yes, they can. Because what they're really worried about is that you're going to be unhappy.
Right.
And when you show them that you're happy, you're successful, and you break all these stereotyped images, and then suddenly they see it's okay.
So may I ask, like, where do you guys get married?
But you know what? We got engaged
Okay,
in
engaged.
Pink Dots.
Oh,
Yeah.
9 years
year?
ago.
9 years ago, I
Nice.
proposed to Anna.
you proposed to
during
Anna
Pink
during
Dots.
Pink Dot.
Oh
Oh
my
my god! So is this like your anniversary?
Oh, this is always our anniversary of engagement.
Anniversary of engagement. Oh my god!
Happy anniversary, guys. So actually, I have not came out to my parents yet. I'm actually hoping that this video could be the conversation starter that I have been wanting to have for, I guess, people who are still like maybe around my age. What would be some advice that you could give them to make it easier for them?
Be proud of who you are. I grew up thinking I was broken. There was something really wrong. And I tried to be straight. I tried to be like others. But I think deep down I couldn't love myself and accept myself.
Yeah.
So I had to do a lot of work with myself and start to accept and love and be fully proud of who I am.
You're unique, you're whole, there's nothing wrong with you. Stand up for yourself, not for anyone else. And then the world will stand with you. But it doesn't matter if they don't, because you're still wonderful.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, that's so inspiring.
Yeah,
I feel
it
like
is,
standing
eh?
up now for
Yeah.
some
We
reason.
should stand up and cheer.
Stand up and cheer, stand
I
up
love
support,
myself.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so
Okay,
much.
thank you guys so much for sharing
Pleasure,
with
pleasure,
us.
pleasure.
Yes, feel free to take a
Feel free to get a
cupcake before you
cupcake,
go.
Oh, that's very kind.
Okay.
And happy anniversary.
Yes, happy anniversary.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank
thanks
you.
guys.
You mentioned just now you have yet to fully come out to your parents. Like, may I know what is holding you back?
I kind of grew up in like a religious household, so I am still trying to kind of balance the two of like owning who I am and also my religion. And this is not for anybody else. This is for me, cause like I find a lot of peace with my religion, and I really wanna, continue being a Muslim first.
I do hope that the stories that they have shared today will in a way help you or inspire you.
Yeah, definitely. I think all their stories were quite insightful, Like, I think one major takeaway is about this being a whole process, not just for you,
Right.
but also for the people close to you. So, like, I'm looking forward to kind of going to that journey with my family as well.
So I think one of the things that I learned today is to love ourselves regardless of our identity.
Definitely. And I think for me, the main important thing that I've learned was kind of like owning who you are and being true to yourself. So, yeah.
Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys happen to see us on the street next time, feel free to sit down and join us for some tea.
Yeah, and if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.